Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Lavinia and I post beauty videos regarding makeup and skincare 3 times a week, every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd love for you to join my channel by hitting the big red subscribe button. Today I'm going to be showing you how to achieve a summer makeup look that is perfect for resisting this crazy heat. I don't know about you guys, but where I live personally right now, it is so hot. We're going through a crazy heat wave, and it's like the second you step outside, your makeup would just melt off. But I have found some tips and tricks that work for me to prolong my makeup life and have my makeup looking as fresh as it did in the morning at the end of the night. So you can really apply these tips to any makeup routine that you have, but today I will also be showing you how to achieve this look right here while implementing these tips. So if you want to see how I got this makeup look, as well as some great tips for how to make your makeup survive the summer heat, just keep on watching.
Oh, you tell me stories, you tuck me in, and the second you leave, I call you right back to check for monsters in my sheets.
So you want to start off with a primer that's really going to adhere the makeup to your skin. That is super important for sure. Before we get to that, you want to make sure you're applying your SPF. I have already done so. That's your first step to this if you did not already do it with your skincare, because of course it's super hot out right now, and you should be wearing SPF all the time, but especially during these crazy heat waves, you definitely want to have your SPF on. So next, you want to be using a primer that can really stick the makeup to your face and adhere it and act kind of like a glue. So I'm going to be using the Milk Hydro Grip primer today. I'm just gonna take some of this. It has like a gel-like consistency, and I like to do like a patting motion. So I'm gonna let that primer kind of sink into the skin a little bit, and while I do that, I'm going to do my eyebrows. So I'm just using my NYX micro brow pencil. My eyebrows are actually looking super clean right now since I just did them. I already posted a tutorial on that. Go check it out for sure. So I just fill in some of the sparse areas and brush through with my spoolie, and then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Right, so the brows are now filled in, and this is the mandatory step if you want your eyebrows to stay in place all day, especially through these super hot days. You need this product. This is the Anastasia Brow Freeze. I cannot stop talking about this because it has easily become one of my favorite eyebrow products. So I just take a spoolie and I dip into it like so, and then I just go on the brows and I use this to shape them. And however you brush through the hairs with this gel on, that is the exact position those hairs will stay in all day. Literally not even kidding. And to set them in even more, really lock that in, I actually take a spoon, or you can even use like the other side of your eyebrow pencil, anything that you can kind of press them down with, and this just really sets them in place. And then if you need to like manipulate it a bit more, I do that right away before anything really sets. This side I have to apply a bit more product to, since the start of this brow doesn't naturally stick up like the other one, so I have to do it with this product, but it really helps me with that. And then I take my little spoon here. All right, let's move on to some actual makeup. So for foundation, I'm gonna keep it super light today, and I find that's really the trick with this type of look. You don't want to pile it on too heavy since your makeup is going to melt throughout the day. So I like to use a very thin layer of foundation. I'm gonna be using my Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation. One of my other favorites for summer that really stays on all day is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear. I'm just all out of this one, so I can't use it right now. But if you are looking for that additional coverage, I would recommend using a concealer, and this is my trick. So we're going to actually be putting the concealer underneath the foundation. What you're gonna do is take a little bit of it on a small brush. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. This is their 16-hour wear concealer. Super long lasting, like bulletproof concealer in my opinion. So I'm just taking a bit of this on a tiny little brush. I'm gonna be using this underneath. And I'm just gonna apply a little bit of this in the corner of my eye. I haven't been doing like full concealer around the eyes lately, but I will just do a tiny little bit in this very deep corner because that's where I have the most darkness. And then I like to take my finger and use the warmth of my hand to blend this in a bit more. All right, so this next step you guys might find me a little bit crazy for. I'm going to be taking some of the It's You skin finishing powder on the little poof, and I'm gonna be going over the spots that I covered super lightly, and I'm also gonna be going over any spots I typically get more oily throughout the day, so typically in my T-zone. So I know it looks a little crazy now, but we really put down that powder to kind of mattify the skin a little bit and do a little bit of that prepping underneath the foundation. I'm gonna actually use a stipple brush today since I do want a very light foundation look. I always find light is better since we did go in with that concealer first. So I'm just gonna take a bit of it on the back of my hand. And this way, you know, you're evening out your skin tone a little bit. This might be too light for me. We'll fix it with bronzer later. But you're not applying too much product where you're just gonna end up sweating it all off later. So that's why I'm using a stipple brush too, just to do a very light hand, as you can see. I've been enjoying lighter face makeup lately, and especially when it's so hot out, I couldn't even think right now about doing a full face. So some really light coverage there. To finish off the face makeup, I'm going to be going in with both cream and powder products because this way you have that double layer, and as colors start to fade, you know, as the day goes on, you're going to have that double layer. So your product, I recommend that you apply more intensely at the beginning of the day because it will wear off when you get exposed to that heat. So I'm taking the Sister Cosmetics contour stick here. And I'm going in with the lighter side. It has a bit of shimmer to it too, which is actually pretty for summer. I don't love it for like the other seasons, but for the summer it actually can be nice. And then I take a bit of the dark side too, and I apply this like right in the cheekbone to really contour. As you can see, I'm not using like super compact brushes either because everything I'm working with today just blends out really nicely, so you just need a little bit of pressure to manipulate the product. For blush, I'm going to be going in with the ColourPop blush stick in the shade Aloha. I'm feeling a more peachy blush today, so that's why I'm going in with this one. I'm just brushing it on to a brush, and then using light pressure, I'm gonna go on to the cheeks. Pretty blendable blush, so you can go in with quite a bit of product and it will just blend out looking really nice. You know what? I haven't used this in a hot minute, so let's use it today. Let's move on to highlighter. This is the Essence Strobing Highlighter Stick. I'm just gonna take a little highlighting brush. Similarly to the blush, just go in there. I find this way you get very even and blended out application. Look how pretty that glow is. Oh my god, obsessed. All right, so now it's time to lock everything in. I'm gonna be grabbing that It's You powder again with the little poof. I like using this because it really presses the powder in. So I just go ahead all over the skin and press this in. This will really lock in the makeup. I love this powder because it's light enough to where it doesn't make your skin look cakey from wearing a powder, but it still does a really good job at just like locking in all that makeup. Of course, you don't want to forget the eyelids because we don't want any creasing out here. And take it under the eye as well. You can even kind of set over the eyebrows a little bit where you put that gel just to really lock it all in. So now we're gonna kind of repeat those contouring blush highlight steps with powders. I'm just gonna be using my Physicians Formula Butter Collection palette. So I'm gonna just go ahead and mix the two bronzer shades. Just gonna go right over, lightly bronze the skin up. I'm going to take the more peachy blush on a fan brush. This is one of my favorite tricks, is to apply your blush with a fan brush. It actually just gives you a really nice application, and you can like lift the face by doing this, since you can bring it up into the temples. And just fake a facelift. Then last but not least, I'm going to highlight, dip into this top champagne-y shade. I don't go too crazy actually with the highlight in the summer, because I find my skin gets that natural glow anyways throughout the day. So I don't want it to become like too much, if that makes sense. Start off with the eyeshadow now. So I'm actually going to take the top bronzer shade we had right here in the palette, and I'm just going to dust that into my crease. I'm also going to take a bit of the peachy blush I used from the palette too, and also dust that in. I kind of like incorporating some of these shades from the face onto the eyes as well, just to kind of bring everything together. I'm gonna use my Milani Gilded Gold palette. I'm gonna use this shade right here called Fembot. Just gonna use a tiny bit of that in the outer corner. I'm not gonna apply too much eyeshadow right now, since my eyelids are a little crusty, and that's simply because I had like a bit of an allergic reaction to like the pollen outside, and they swelled up, and the swelling went down, so now they're super dry. A little bit of a TMI story time for you right there. But yeah, so I don't want to go too crazy to emphasize that dryness, but I still want to do a bit of an eye look for you guys. All right, so now I am going to do a little bit of a wing, kind of define my eyes a little bit. I'm not going to use a liquid liner because, you know, that can go really bad when there's this much heat, you're sweating, all of that. But I also don't want to use a powder, because I just find powders don't really last that long. So we're gonna go right in the middle and use a gel pot. This is the Sister Cosmetics dark brown gel pot liner. I like using a brown sometimes instead of a black, just because it's a bit more on the natural side. And I'm just gonna go in and use this to slightly wing out the eyes. And the reason I say slightly and I'm not going for like a full-blown eyeliner look is, if this smudges, I still want it to look like, you know what, it's kind of part of my eye shape, so it just will kind of give that illusion. Even on this side, I kind of went a little bit too dark with it, I feel, so I'm just gonna take a brush and kind of already diffuse that out a little bit, so you can kind of see what I mean, how it kind of stayed in place for the most part. So for mascara, you want to go in with something that is going to last. It's not going to smudge, budge, anything like that. But for me personally, I don't love waterproof mascaras, because I just find I rip out my lashes at the end of the night when I'm trying to take it off. So my ride or die mascara is the Voluminous X Fiber from L'Oreal. I actually bought a new one because I wasn't able to use this in my last makeup tutorial, and I was so sad, because I'm like, it's my holy grail and I'm not even using it, and I'm raving about it. So first you start off with step one. This is really going to just add the length to your lashes, separate them out nicely. Oh my god, it feels so good to use this. And this stuff is so budge proof for a non-waterproof mascara. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't crumble throughout the day, it just really stays in place, and it makes your lashes literally look like you're wearing falsies. So like, look at that already, and I just applied that one coat. It's crazy. And I'm even not shy to put this on my lower lashes, because I just trust it so much that it won't budge. And then you take step 2 of the mascara and you go in on the other side. So I just kind of layer this over, and this step will really add the volume. Alright, so now for the lips, of course you want to make sure you have a really good lip liner on. Some of my favorites are the Rimmel Lasting Finish. This is in the shade Indian Pink. And then I honestly usually take it kind of in too. I kind of turn it onto the side and do a bit of shading. And the reason I do this is because once your lip color starts to fade throughout the day, lip liner is usually what will stay throughout the whole day. So even if your color fades, you won't be left with nothing on the lips, and there will still be something there. Then I'm going to take the Milani Bold Lipstick in the shade I Am Happy. These lipsticks are awesome. I would always say go for a matte lipstick, or at least semi-matte, just so that the longevity of it is a bit longer. I'm going for a nice vibrant color today. I just feel like adding a pop of color to the lips since I didn't do much on the eyes. Now, of course, you can go in with a liquid lipstick too. Some of my favorites are the Milani ones or the Maybelline ones. But since I don't really mind reapplying my lipstick throughout the day, I have to finish this look off with some setting spray to really lock everything in. Some of my favorites are the Milani Make It Last, the Make It Last Matte. This one locks in your makeup for so long, as well as the All-Nighter Spray. All of these are really great options. Today I'm going to use my Make It Last Matte just because it does kind of keep the skin a little matte and prevents it from getting oily throughout the day. Alright guys, so here is the finished makeup look. I personally really like this, and honestly, I personally really like how this turned out with the bolder lip. I think it makes me feel a little bit more glam, even though the rest of the makeup is super light. But these are my tips and tricks for how to get your makeup to last throughout this crazy heat. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And also make sure to turn on my post notifications so you get notified every single time I upload a new video. And yeah guys, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Oh, you tell me stories, you tuck me